Michael.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the United Way for our latest Manchester United news. Going to talk about Jude Bellingham Baragin, Eric Cantona as well. Had a little interview today, and Harry Maguire comes out and tells a little bit of the truth, or some would say he was moaning. Michael, are we there? Yeah,
Yeah,
here we go. How are you?
yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. It's a pleasure being here as always.
Yeah, pleasure having you back on. It's still international break, but we're back on Sunday playing Man City. A big that I don't I think it just speaks for itself. We don't have to say how big it is. What it means to both sides. What it means to us fans, players. It means a lot. It's a big game to return back from international break with. But Michael, I don't think you'll argue with me in saying international break is very boring. I think we have an agreement there.
Yeah, like I said, it's kind of boring actually. We've all missed the weekend football. We've all
Yeah.
missed it. That excitement, and well, there's a lot of positives actually. I think it's just we have 6 days to go, and before we know what's happening, definitely it's now Premier League football.
Yeah, thank God. I think if not most, all of the United players are having a good international break. Malacia is doing well. Haven't heard much about Van der Beek, but I'm guessing he's doing well as everyone else. The players that are mainly on fire would be the likes of Ronaldo, Bruno, and Delo, and Christian Eriksen, if I haven't mentioned him. So, if you're Ten Hag and you're looking at their performances, you'd be happy, wouldn't you? You wouldn't be worried.
Yeah, of course, I will be very, very happy. The lads actually are really, really desperate. They are willing to improve us, as as a team, individually and collectively, and um, going back to their respective countries to play for their countries. Almost all our players have been fantastically, playing well. It's actually up to them, and they are ready to show Ten Hag. They are ready to show Manchester United fans that, you know, there is indeed improvement in their performances, and we saw that. We've been seeing it in some of their performances. We saw it in Ericsson's performances and Lisandro Martinez, Rafa Varane, Casemiro, you know, Scott McTominay. Uh, we can keep mentioning these players, and it's a good thing actually. That's one positive, and that's one thing that we fans will hold on to with regards Ten Hag and the changes and the improvements on the players.
Yeah, obviously McTominay's from Scotland and he was playing my country the other night in Ireland, and he actually had a good. I suppose he Scott. If you look at McTominay, I thought because you didn't have Bruno around him or Ericsson, he would have been a bit poor, but he was actually good with John McGinn beside him. So he is continuing those performances, well, decent performances with the likes of John McGinn. So what is when he does eventually return back? What are they going to be like with Ericsson, Bruno Fernandez? If you want to throw Van de Beek in there or Fred. So yeah, I've watched most of the United players in the international break, and me as a fan, I'd be confident going into Sunday's game. But then again, it's totally different team. This is different manager, different players, totally different football. But then Ten Hag, I think my United's team, if you look at or Portugal have what they just have top class players, but then so does United. So that everything is before we had the international break, we were on good performance. We were playing well. We were what we're like. three or four games unbeaten in the Premier League, so that's good. Um, let's hope we can be. If we beat City, I wouldn't say, I'm not going to say, oh, it'll be Baccarat, but that'll be a step forward. We beat Arsenal, we beat Liverpool. Imagine beating Man City.
Yeah,
That the confidence is high, but how high would it get? But then you don't want to get too overconfident as a player and even as fans, because we went into matches and we were all, you know, we had our hopes up, and as we always say, it's the hope that kills you. So even though we're playing well now, we still don't get overhyped. We still are, we're just we're just chill. We're just chill. That's all you have to be, because it's United, new manager. You're gonna have good patches. You're gonna have bad patches. It's a part of supporting a club, managing the club, and playing for the club. Rahul says McTominay is okay for now. Yeah, I mean, I think the signing of Casemiro has improved. It's weird, isn't it? The signing of McTominay, ever since we signed Casemiro, McTominay is putting good performances. It makes no
yeah.
sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. But
That's the
yeah,
spirit of um, competition.
yeah,
It
it's good
produced
to see
healthy.
though.
Yeah.
It is good. I mean, we have all right defense. I wouldn't say there's much competition in defense. I mean, Maguire he's nowhere near the levels of Baran, let's just say, and Martinez. And Martinez is 5'9". You little midget. Like Martinez is a midget compared to Maguire, and he's still making Maguire look like shit. Um, Left back Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw, he says, so watch him with England last week. No, like he usually used to play well with England. He's not even playing well with England anymore, and they're playing tonight as well against Germany, I think, at Wembley. So, will he have a good performance tonight? God knows. But yeah, but we'll move on. A lot of talk about Jude Bellingham. Will we get him? Will we not get him? Nobody knows. But uh, came out from the Sun this morning that Jude Bellingham could leave Borussia Dortmund for just £83 million next summer, £50 million less than Dortmund reportedly want if the entire fee is paid up front. But before I get your opinions on that, Akinola says, so far Ten Hag has gained more respect by making so many ruthless decisions by dropping Maguire and Ronaldo. Exactly. Exactly. That takes that takes guts and nerves. If Ronaldo, top class player, drop him. Maguire, we spent 80 million on him, drop him. He's
Yeah.
not afraid to make. He's not afraid to make big decisions, and that's what we
Yeah.
like about him. But Michael, Jude Bellingham. I mean, listen, what do you think? Would you be a big fan of him, or would you maybe move on, say next summer, and keep focusing on Frankie De Jong?
Well, Jude Bellingham is actually a good player, actually, and we've seen that in even his valuation. I think Dortmund they value him for maybe 150 million euros or thereabout. But that tells us that he's a very good midfielder, and definitely he's tenacious, he's technical, and he reads the ball so very well, and he has a good foresight. He can play well. He has a good positioning, and he has that eye for goal. So I think that is the kind of player or the kind of midfielder that I think Manchester United needs. Of course, he's still young and he's still developing. He's still a prospect. But when we look at the qualities, what he has done for Borussia Dortmund this short period of time. I think it's exciting. It's exciting, and he's a kind of lad that is very exciting to watch. And no doubt there's a lot of quality in him, and he has a lot inside of him. So coming down to Manchester United, I think will be that perfect stage or that perfect scene for him to be able to become better and further develop. Thank God we have a manager like Eric Ten Hag, who definitely knows how to use and manage and utilize young players, young prospects, and we'll definitely see more of him. And if we actually intend going for him as our Frankie De Jong replacement? Of course, he will come in handy because we already have a defensive midfielder, a good defensive midfielder in Casemiro, and of course, we are seeing the impact it's having on Scott McTominay improving his game and stepping up in his game and all of that. So Jude Bellingham is not a defensive midfielder, but being he can actually play as a central midfielder, and of course he can be an attacking midfielder. But definitely, you know, a club as massive as Manchester United, we are looking out for a quality squad depth, a quality good squad depth, and I think he's definitely going to add more options, more midfield options into the Manchester United squad. And I actually see him, you know, replacing in quotes Frankie De Jong, because Frankie has made his intention known that he doesn't want to leave Barcelona. He wants to be a Barcelona player, and it's likely that he signs or renews his contract with Barcelona. So instead of beating around the bush, I think it's high time Manchester United, if the opportunity comes in, we should snap up Jude Bellingham's signature, let him become a Manchester United player because he has so much quality and he has done a lot for Borussia Dortmund. Stats do not lie. If you go to the internet and check out his stats, it's impressive, very impressive for a very young player like him.
Yeah, exactly. Comment there from Akinoli. He says Jude Bellingham was a very good player, but that price is way too much for him.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's way too
it
much.
is. It is. And Rahil says Bellingham was not the only option. You know, he's definitely not. I mean, if you want to, like, there is good central midfielders out there with, Singare. I know he's probably, some people say he's more of a DM, but if you're looking for a central midfielder, you have, you know, obviously Bellingham, Frankie De Jong.
Yes,
They're
yes,
two good players. If you want to move over to Bayern, you look at Goretzka, who he's worth a lot, but Gravenberch. But there's Bellingham. But listen, it's if Ten Hag really wants him, it's gonna be Bellingham or De Jong, isn't it? It's gonna be one of those. If that's what listen, this could be all crap. A reporter could ask him, or someone could ask him this question on Sunday about Bellingham, and he'll say, "I don't know what you're on about," because it's God knows whether it's true, but you know. You kind of have to, don't wear the messenger, so don't shoot us. But like, yeah, I mean, I'd take him, but I just think £83 million is a bit too much. When you might as well just go for Frankie De Jong again, he was top class. I mean, Bellingham's a good player. De Jong's a good player. I think if Ten Hag had the option between Bellingham and De Jong, I think he'd go for De Jong. What do you think? Do you reckon if he had the option with either Bellingham or De Jong, who do you think he'd go with?
yeah. Of course, it's definitely going to be De Jong. You know, Ten Hag actually is a manager who goes for players that he knows so well, and we've seen that in Anthony, we've seen that in Martinez, we've seen that in Terra Malaysia. So these guys are lads that the manager knows before now. So, and we can see their performances; they're actually playing well. So it's definitely going to be Frankie De Jong. If Frankie De Jong actually comes into the limelight and is available in the market, of course, Ten Hag will definitely opt in for Frankie De Jong.
Yeah, I just don't think it's a deal that'll happen. I can always see him going to like a City or a Liverpool. But listen, if we can get him for a bit cheaper than £83 million, I'll be happy with that deal. And he's like, what, 19, 20 years of
Yeah,
age,
like I
England
said,
international.
he's very, very good, very, very
Mm.
technical. You know, he likes to dribble, likes to play through balls, and he's a kind of, and he's also he gets fouled often. He gets fouled often, so it's to tell you he's technical and he's good at his feet. So we'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I just again, as I said, if you can get him for cheaper than 83 million, I personally have 50, 60 million for Bellingham is what I'd look at. That'd be reasonable, I think, for Bellingham. You know,
Yeah,
50, 50 to 60 million maybe. Some people might say 30, 40, but I think that's asking a bit too much. Um, I mean, what Frankie De Jong, we nearly offered 85 million for De Jong, I think, at some stage, or 90 million. We've bid it for De Jong that many times. We nearly offered a grand at one stage, so we were just throwing everything at him. But I want to move on and talk about Eric Cantona. Um, King Eric, sorry, King Eric. You know Michael. I seen you posted something up about it. You know all about it. So, but we'll start off with Eric Cantona on Man United rejecting his offer to return to the club as a president of football. He says, "I met Ed Woodward a few times, but they did not accept that. I still think me or somebody else, they should have somebody for football." He says it should be somebody from the club who knows football and the club. He's right, isn't he? He's right. You know, Eric
Yeah,
Cantona played for the club, loved the club, was a brilliant player. You know, I still watch highlights of Cantona today and what a player he was. Do you think he's right, or do you think Ed Woodward was right not to make him president of football?
well, Cantona, any fan or any Manchester United fan who sees or who reads what Cantona actually, um, in the interview session he had with the Athletic, but it shows that Eric Cantona actually loves Manchester United, and Ed Woodward being part of the mediocre board we've had over the years, and being irrational and being so very annoying, they'll be able to know that Ed Woodward and the rest of the board, the Glazers, they made the wrong decision. Cantona is passionate. He's a legend. He's passionate about the progress for Manchester United, and for him to come out to expose Ed Woodward, or expose the inadequacies of the board, it tells a lot. It tells a lot that he's truly a top legend and passionate for the progress of Manchester United. Sadly, I think part of that, part of what he said he even met Sir Alex Ferguson, and Sir Alex Ferguson gave him the go ahead, and Sir Alex Ferguson actually, you know, gave him that go ahead to go meet Ed Woodward. But unfortunately, they did not, they couldn't uh, buy his opinion. And of course, we can see what is happening now at the club. We can see we definitely lack, we don't have a director of football, which we definitely need to have to progress moving forward. And top clubs have, they have a director of football, and that position is not just for any businessman or any business person. It must be a top person who knows football. It could be from the club. It could be an ex-player. It could be a legend, provided that player knows the club and knows football. They Those are the kind of persons that supposed to vying for such positions, not a marketing expert like
Yeah.
Ed Woodward, who, when it comes to business, when they are business inclined, they know how to do business. But Manchester United, they've over the years, they've made it look like a marketing team. Like anybody who comes to the club, or anybody who comes to the club, they pay them high salary, or um any player they are actually bidding for, you know, the other club will definitely increase, or they'll double the actual fee or amount on a player. For instance, we saw what happened to Anthony. We saw what happened to Lisandro Martinez. These lads came in for huge prizes, double their amount, double the actual amount of their worth. So what are we talking about? A good director of football and a good recruitment team or recruiting team will be able to do the right thing. They will know how to bargain. They will know how to, to make sure that they know the right term, they know the right strategy, they know the right steps to follow to be able to, to get in players and to make clubs, to make the club progress. But unfortunately, such is not the case. And Eric Cantona came out to, to offer his help, to offer his support. At least he said, if not himself, it
Yeah.
can be someone else. He said, if not himself, it can be someone else. That tells you that he's passionate. He really wants to see Manchester United move forward, because you look at top clubs, they have a perfect director of football. You see Ajax, they have Van der Sar,
Hmm.
and we can actually see the talent, we can actually see the recruitment, we can actually see how it is a factory. In my opinion, I call Ajax, a good football factory, because they produce world class talent. They produce good, 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 good players, and these players tend, or they actually come out to become world best products, or they actually come out to become the very best. So Eric Cantona, in my opinion, was very right in proposing to become, or somebody else to become, the director of football for Manchester United. And it's a shame that Ed Woodward never, considered or never made it possible. But the good thing right now is Ed Woodward is out. He's no longer is no longer in Manchester United. He doesn't have any decision making power in the club right now. So it's for us to, let's be positive and hope that, you know, the next in line to leave the club will be the Glazers, because once the Glazers leave the club, it's certain that we are definitely going to get things right. We're definitely going to get things right down to that area that I've been missing over the years, being the director of football. We're definitely going to get someone who is capable, someone who is sound, someone who's inclined you know, in making the right decisions. So Eric Cantona, in my opinion, was very, very correct.
Yeah. Rahul says Cantona speaking out of his depth. But in Cantona's defence, Michael, you kind of summed it up. He never said, obviously, he said him or someone that knows
Yeah,
the club. And personally, I can only name one player, no, sorry, one ex player, and that's Van der Sar. It's one or the other. It is. And I think with as long as the Glazers are floating around this club, don't expect, you know, any Cantonas or Van der Sars to come in as long as the Glazers are around. It's not going to happen. Once the Glazers still own this club, you're not going to get all the big Van der Sars or Cantonas or a big change coming in. But again, like as you said, the Glazers have when the Glazers leave, that's when you'll start to to see a change. I
yeah,
think the Glazers be a massive change to say the least. Um, gets Rahul also says gets someone who deserves it on merit. Van der Sar would be a good show. Cantona is passionate and he knows the club. And thing is about Cantona, which I hope if he was ever to get what he wanted, he does what us fans want.
yeah.
He
Sorry to cut you short. I actually feel, Cantona. If you look at his personality, he's a
oh
kind
yeah,
of no nonsense guy, like
oh
kind
yeah,
of no nonsense kind of person. And I think the board, Ed Woodward and Co, they don't want somebody, be you an ex player, to come challenge them, to
oh yeah,
come challenge their decision making, or come challenge them. You know, that is why, in my opinion, I think they they intentionally refused to give him that offer. They intentionally refused that offer. They don't want anybody to actually, you know, command or fight them, or somebody who will challenge them. That is the kind of board we have. And Eric Cantona, trust me, is going to be a fantastic and a fan's favorite, because he definitely looks like somebody who knows the game. For him to talk about it, for him to propose such, for him to have that confidence to meet Sir Alex Ferguson to talk about this, it shows the passion. And obviously, as long as the Glazers are still the owners of Manchester United, they will always refuse offers of people who want to, you know, to make the club progress, because they will feel like you want to challenge us, Hell no, we can't give you this job. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, not sure whether you know this, Michael, but Rahil says there was the guy who we were linked to in the summer for this role. I think he works at Red Bull. Is the ideal choice? You know him?
Well, I didn't get you. What boy?
Rahil says there was the guy who we were linked to in the summer for this role. I think he works at Red Bull. He is the ideal choice. I doubt it's Paul Mitchell, is it?
Yeah, I think Paul Mitchell. Paul Mitchell, yes.
But
No,
he's
Paul Mitchell was not Salzburg. No,
Monaco, isn't it?
Monaco. Yes, yes, Monaco. Paul Mitchell was Monaco.
Yeah, I mean, like again,
Or
Manchester
could it
United,
be? Or could it be
right?
the same person Chelsea, the same director of football Chelsea's linked with? I think
Yeah,
he works
Paul
for.
Mitchell is what he says.
No, no, not Paul Mitchell. Paul Mitchell is for Monaco.
No, that's what
Monaco.
Rahil said. He's guessing Paul Mitchell about the Salzburg, but
But
Paul Mitchell's Monaco.
yeah,
Yeah, Chelsea. Yeah, Todd. By the way, Todd Bowley, keep your mouth shut, right? I don't want the North versus South football match. This is not your sport, right? You call it soccer, we call it football. Don't shut up, right? Like, come on. Swear to God, that man has to keep his mouth closed. He's just going to be another Glazer 2.0 or something like that. Um, yeah, but yeah. So he says last year I proposed to the club to change their way. Ed Woodward is great at marketing, but not great at football. He says United should have a chairman, and then they should have a president of marketing, and then a president of football who is in charge of all the decision on football. So I proposed to them that I should be the president of football. He says Ed Woodward is great at marketing, but not great at football. Man United should have a chairman, and they should have a president. Yeah, basically what I said there is what he said. He's right. As much as people might say Cantona speaking out of his depth, he doesn't know what he's talking about, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah. He's right, isn't he? Like, he's spot on. I
yeah,
can't disagree. I can't agree to disagree. I just have to agree with him. I have to. I mean, what do you think? Do you reckon he's spot on what he's saying, or do you reckon some of the stuff he's saying is a bit okay? I don't know what he's on about there, or do you reckon he's right? He has every right.
yeah. He's right. He has every right. Like you said, I cannot agree to disagree too. He's spot on, and these are legends. He said something about Old Trafford too. You know, changing the name to is it Nessu or Amazon or whatever it can be. He said the day anything of such happens, he will denounce being a Manchester United fan. He will stop supporting Manchester United and he will stop probably watching football or thereabout or something like that. So he's spot on actually, and for him to come out to say all of these, for him to honor that interview session, it shows he's passionate. He's like the fan. He's like any fan, every other Manchester United fan who wants progress.
Mhm.
And we've seen it in decades. We've seen the inadequacies of the Glazer family and Ed Woodward and co and the board. But I'm happy, the fans, with the unification of the fans, we were able to, we protested and we got Ed Woodward kicked out. So that same energy, that same vibes, I think we will be able to send the Glazers out of the club. I'm very certain about that. Cantona is right. He's right. It's like he spoke. It's like he was the spokesperson for the fans. He actually said the mind of the fans, what the fans would have wanted, or what the fans so passionately wanted. Truly, truly, every successful club, be it in the Premier League or whatever you may find yourself, I will repeat it again. We definitely need a good director of football. If you don't have any good director of football, trust me, your recruitment will be in disarray. Your recruitment process will be bad, so bad. And we've seen that over the years. It has been Ed Woodward who has been making recruitment, and it has been terrible. We spent billions and billions and billions of pounds, yet we've made losses over the years, over decades when he has been in charge. So Eric is spot on. I'm sure he was able to think about that fact that Manchester United have long spent, they've long spent a huge sums of money and no results. Of course, we can mention some players. When you look at their performances, they've not lived up to expectations, and we can only but ask questions. When is this going to end? And Eric Cantona was indeed, you know, absolutely, absolutely spot on, absolutely spot on. And we have to see what happens in probably the coming, let's say, coming months to see if we'll definitely have a change of ownership.
Yeah, I'm hoping by the end of this year or next year
Yeah,
that the
after,
Glazers are
after the
gone.
World Cup.
Yeah,
It could
yeah,
be after the World Cup, because after the World Cup, I think we'll start seeing
yeah.
um other things.
I'm hoping because what there's to be no what nearly month, 2 months without football, so
Yeah, it's
there's a lot.
somehow like,
It's not a long time if you want to change their actors and bring new ones in, but it's a it's a certain amount of time that you can do a lot in. It is. You know,
yeah,
If you want to get Cantona in, there's there's no excuse. You can't come out and say we have no time. You have the World Cup coming up. There's no excuse. And it's not like they didn't have 2 weeks off already if they wanted to do something. Not saying that I'd expect them to, but yeah. Rahil
yeah,
says get him on as an advisor or consultant. Joe, who I really would have liked him. And it's a shame he missed out on, I think, because Ralph Rangnick left that kind of Ten Hag or Ralph Rangnick kind of would have dragged them in. Paul Mitchell. We should have got Paul Mitchell in. We should have. He would have been a good addition. He would have, and I just think the departure of Rangnick kind of ruined our
yeah.
chances.
He would have been. And like I said, if you look at Paul Mitchell, he obviously is like someone who, you getting who I want, or he has actually looked at the kind of player I want, and it remains to be seen if the Manchester United board will agree with his own selection or his decisions. And the Glazers, as everyone knows, will definitely refuse such. They actually want somebody who will be under their control. They don't want somebody who will definitely control them. And I think that is where Manchester United will have problems in the long run. In the long run, we'll have problems, except
Yeah,
there's a change in mentality, change in ideology, and all of that. So that's what I think.
yeah, spot on. Yeah, I mean, we'll move on a bit more. He says since Ferguson retired in 2013, the club doubled their revenue but didn't win anything, the league or the Champions League. So imagine if you succeed in football and also have great people in marketing. Then instead of doubling the revenue, um, then you would treble it. But they do not understand that the club spends a lot of money, but you have to spend it well. He also says Manchester United has hundreds of fans on social media, hundreds of thousands of fans on social media. If they create an application today saying that 50% of the club can be sold, then why should you have one person or two people who invest £500 million? Then he also says instead you can have hundreds of millions of people who spend 10, 20, 100, 1,000 euros, and 50% of the club is owned by the real fans of Manchester United. With social media now, you would do that like this. Now, Michael, we're real fans. We're passionate fans. If we weren't real or passionate fans, we wouldn't be here, would we? It's simple as that. Do you reckon he's right? Do you reckon he's right? Again, saying that, like literally what I read out there, do you reckon he's right again?
I'm sorry. Fans make football, and you know, football is nothing without fans, actually. And
Yeah, that's spot on.
if you look at, like I said, like what everyone knows, Manchester United have suffered. It's been a long time since Sir Alex Ferguson actually, retired. Since 2013, we've not won the Premier League. We've not won any major trophy and proposing to sell the club or proposing to for a change of ownership, I think it's fair enough. It's fair enough, and it's long overdue. Actually, even if Manchester United fans have probably 50% ownership or whatsoever, at least it shows passion. When you have a people who, you know, they've come together to say, okay, we're tired of what we see every week. We're tired of going decades without winning a trophy. Then I think um, it's it's a good thing actually for them to think of in the first place to think of see how they can actually change ownership. But the truth be told, the Glazers relinquishing 50% stake. Trust me, I don't want to be negative here, but anything can happen. But at this point, it may not be possible, but it can be possible if collectively, if the fans keep pushing, they keep pressing, and the way we saw Ed Woodward resign can be the same way we will see the Glazer family leaving the club. Yeah, it's very possible. So it all boils down to passion, and it all boils down to what is at stake here. And when we look at the fans, we have the largest fan base in the world. Manchester United have the largest fan base in the world, and you look at what they want, what you and I want, and what everyone watching and everyone else what they want. It's displeasing actually. Spent so much monies, and we've gotten players who they've underperformed. Yeah, no thanks to the board for their recruitment. These are some factors, or these are things that the fans actually they've looked at. You and I have looked at and say, what is going on? And the only solution is for it, whether we like it or not, or whether the Glazer family likes it or not. The only solution is for them to sell the club. Is for them to relinquish control, and it could be Sir Jim Ratcliffe or whoever it might be, or the Saudi billionaires or the Emirates of Dubai or whatever it might be. Whoever is ready, and I think if Manchester United, if the Glazers tend to to put the club in the market, of course, we'll definitely see potential suitors, potential buyers who will want to buy the club. So overall, well, I think 50% now, or just like that. I don't think the Glazers will want to uh, uh, you know to just relinquish control or sell 50% stake, except they've thought it through and said, okay, we've heard and we're tired, or we just want to just let it go. But ordinarily, well, it's going to be a difficult battle to fight.
Yeah. I mean, Rahul says there that 50% will happen with the Glazers, but he is right to say, yeah, he's just speaking facts. It's what Cantona does. It's why we all loved him. It's why we still love him. It's why we're all big fans of him. So yeah, the Glazers will sell, but it's only for financial reasons. Just as all for the money, because they own Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well. So it's not like they're short money. Let's be honest. It's not like they're ever going to be short money because they're greedy scum. All right, I said it. I don't care. All right, but yeah, we'll move on to someone who also likes to ruin the team on the pitch in Harry Maguire. He had a little interview there, not sure how, a day or two ago, but he says, on my form, I don't know what has been said. I don't really read about it. I came back off the back of 3 positive games with England in the summer and a good pre-season, and he says, I felt really good. He says, obviously the manager, Eric Ten Hag, decided to leave me out for a game, and the team have been winning since. Yeah, he's admitted it. He's admitted it himself, that ever since we've left him out, we've won games. Do you think Maguire... I'm sorry. Do you think this Man United is too good for Maguire? Or do you think Maguire is just a shit player? There's a lot of things. Or do you reckon he's trying to get back in there? But it's hard to where you have Varane and Martinez who are on fire.
Okay. Um. Well, Maguire. It's always it's interesting actually to always talk about Maguire because yeah, because we want to see a change. We want to see a change in his performance. We want to see him, step up in his game. Well, the criticisms he has had, the most recent criticisms he has had, well, coming out to say he has had a good preseason, a good tournament in the Euros and all of that. Those are flimsy excuses. You don't judge by your past glories and all of that. What is really important is your performance, your current performances. And Maguire, for a while now, he has bottled up his performances and he hasn't been at his best. He hasn't been at his best. He comes up in the game and he makes series of mistakes. He makes costly mistakes, mistakes that sometimes can cost the team. And this is what we fans, being the spectators, we watch these games and we see what happens. you know Criticism actually is part of the game, and you have to accept the fact that you are not good enough and you need to improve. But you're coming out to say, I'm the captain of Manchester United, and I think as a result of that, I that makes me that makes me the pivotal point to any critics or any whatever you want to call it. That is just an excuse, and that is disdainful, and that is unaccepted as a captain. You don't give an excuse because you're the captain of the club. Then you believe that anyone can make a story out of you. This is wrong. This is wrong. You know the all the games you are featured in the Premier League when and called upon. You know it's a massive loss. It's a massive loss to the team, and he seems like he's not bothered. You know, you come into the game. Manchester United have played, and we've played games where Lisandro Martinez and Rafa Varane have actually stepped up. They've defended well, and in fact, Manchester United ended up winning games that they've played in. Maguire coming into the club and coming into such games, and Manchester United losing these games, it tells a lot. If Maguire is actually um, concerned, if he's concerned about himself, how to improve and how to change the ideology of the fans, I think he's supposed to go back to the drawing board and see what he can do to improve. And we saw the shitty performance. We saw what happened in England in the Euros. He featured, of course, and they lost. They lost the game. So there's a lot of question mark, and it's obvious. It's obvious now that we've seen that he is part of the problem that Manchester United have had over the years. We've had change in managers. We've had since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We've had Ralph Ragnick coming in. You know, these managers kept on using Harry Maguire, and of course, it has been catastrophic. It has been disastrous for us. So the previous managers we've had never had that confidence. They never had that guts, that ruthlessness to bench a players like Maguire. Maybe because they feel he's the captain of the club. Who knows? But of course, captains can be benched because no player is bigger than the club. No
That's
player
it.
is bigger than the club. So Eric Ten Hag came in and he proved to the world, he proved to the fans, he proved to the Manchester United board that he's in charge. He's in charge, and he has actually analyzed games. He should know that Maguire is not good enough to become the captain. He's not good enough to start games. So it's left for Maguire to probably accept his new role, because I see Maguire as a player who he may not be good enough to be in a starting 11. He could be a backup player, a backup defender, or he could be maybe he may not be good enough for Manchester United. So it is high time we accept. It's high time he accepts that reality. It's high time he accepts that fact that he's not good enough. He has, I've watched games. We all have watched games where he cost us games. He cost us matches individually, making costly mistakes. Sometimes he even attacks. He even marks his own player. We've seen times where he marked Paul Pogba, Cristiano Ronaldo, Luke Shaw, Diego Dallo. These are errors, unwarranted mistakes, errors that he makes. And thank God that Eric Ten Hag has realized this fact and have come to say, you know what, I'm in charge and I'm ready to make changes and I'm ready to make Manchester United a great team. And to make that, I think Harry Maguire has to be benched. And I'm sure the remaining players are trying to be professional about the whole thing, but they know that Maguire is not good enough. Maguire is not good enough, and we can see as he has not played for some matches now, as he hasn't started, we can see we are winning games, the momentum, the passion, and at the end of the day, we deliver, we claim points. And I'm sure come Sunday against Manchester City, of course, we pray Martinez and Varane, we pray they get fit and watch. Once those two start, we are definitely going to win the game against Manchester City.
Ooh, that's a big statement. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right what you said. Rahil says Maguire is done for me. There's no coming back. Sell him in the summer, and he says he will never be ready to be a backup.
Yeah,
I,
but it all depends on him actually. And like I was, at that other channel where I was yesterday, there was something I said to them. I said, they should mark my word that Maguire is definitely going to be sold. It could be next summer, it could be in summers to come, or it could be in
yeah.
January. He will be sold because he's not good enough. You're right. He's not good enough to play for Manchester United.
No, he's not, and I don't think he'll ever he ever will be as well.
Yeah.
I just I don't know. Like he just, I mean, I'm kind of in the end, it just goes to show if he didn't sign Lissandro Martinez, would have he beat would we have beaten Liverpool, Arsenal, you know, the top clubs? Would have we have beaten them? Probably not. Probably not. So yeah, I mean Maguire, like Ten Hag's not dropping you because he hates you. He's dropping you because you're shy. All right, it's
Yeah.
simple as that. He's
Yeah.
not. He's not doing it because he hates the fella. He's doing it because it's for the best. It's what we wanted since we bought the fella. Since we bought Maguire, we've wanted him on the bench. I think he's maybe not his best player when he's on the bench. I think we should get Player of the Month award because he is top class. I love Harry Maguire on the bench, best position. But more about Maguire. He says, I'm working hard on training. I'm working hard in the training pitch to make sure I am ready for when my opportunity comes. That is all what I can do to try and help the team. He says, I'm not concentrating on anybody else on what people are saying. I think if people can make a story about me, oh my god, I am a Manchester United captain. It is going to make big news. Rahul says it's not his fault.
Yeah, I saw that. It's a very funny
He's
comment.
what?
It's a very funny comment.
Yeah, he's the right player at the wrong club. Yeah, exactly. He also says, so this is the reason they do it. Like this is the reason they do it. They like the clicks and things like that. But I went into the Euros after an 8-week injury and did not play one game. And got into the team of the tournament. In terms of rustiness and things like that, I'm sure that won't happen. Maguire, listen, you're just not good enough for the club. Like no, I mean even with England the other day, you have they do have a brilliant team, and they played rubbish. We played Maguire when we played Sociedad in the Europa League. Not saying you know he was the main problem, but we lost. When Maguire plays, we lose. Like
I
if we
think
play, like it's if we found out Maguire was playing on Sunday, you'd sit here right now and just say 5-0 City. It's simple as that.
of course. Like, see, let's be realistic, and I know the players are trying to be professional as they want to be. Within these players, they know that Maguire is a problem. Maguire cannot lead them. They've seen the way he plays before, during Ole's time when he was the captain till this very day. They've seen series of times he has cost them. He has cost them matches. These players know. So you can't expect his colleagues to come out and say, Maguire, you're the problem, or go to the media and start talking bad about Maguire. No, it's definitely going to happen. But within them, probably body languages and body languages, yes, in matches, some matches that Maguire features in. We see it. Those games where Maguire features in and we lose games. These players know Maguire is not good enough to lead us or to lead them. So it's high time Maguire realized that fact that he's definitely going to take a miracle before he gets back into the starting 11, because right now I think he's third choice. He's third choice now in the selection order.
Oh yeah, but you have. I mean, I personally, if you had Boy, I'd throw him as fourth or fifth choice. Include Lindelof ahead of him. Lindelof is better than Maguire.
Yeah.
Like he is, isn't it? But it's just because we spent 80 million on the fella on Harry Maguire. That's why he's on the bench. If he spent 10, 15 million on him, he probably either would have been sold or be in the reserves bench with the likes of Phil Jones. Simple as
Yeah.
that. He is like, come on, like Jesus, Phil Jones was a headache when he was getting regular game time. Now Maguire's our new headache. And when Phil Jones played against Wolves at the start of last year, when he cried coming off the pitch, he had a great game. We lost, but he had a great game. Rahil says he needs to be humble and work hard like McTominay. Yeah. McTominay is just a different animal. Different animal. Them Scottish players always are different animals. But yeah, we'll finish it off with one or two. Rahil says you should be fifth or sixth choice. Yeah, basically you have Varane, Martinez, Lindelof. No, sorry, Boy, Lindelof, and yeah. Or else, if you want to include the defenders that are at the club at the moment, Martinez, Varane, Lindelof, and Maguire. So fourth choice at least. Yeah. But Manchester United are weighing up to trigger David De Gea's contract option after the wage bill reached a Premier League record of £384 million for last season. Manchester United are currently assessing the long-term plan, and a change of number one could bring the likes of Jordan Pickford come into the frame. What do you think, Michael? What do you think? Pickford, De Gea, what's the story there? What's your head saying to you?
Well, my head is actually telling me not to believe that story, because it's I don't think it's true, because of all people, of all goalkeepers who want to replace, I don't think Pickford is the preferred replacement. You know, he's a decent keeper, but not good enough for Manchester United. That's in my opinion. Because you look at Pickford, you look at he makes series of mistakes, and you look at the Everton team. How far has he fared? How many clean sheets has he kept? And he concedes a lot of goals, and we need that perfect ball playing goalkeeper, and a sweeper goalkeeper. And I think we definitely should look elsewhere. Well, like I said, David is obviously a club legend. I think he's the goalkeeper who has made, in the history of Manchester United goalkeeper, I think he's the one who has made the most, um, I think, appearances and saves. I think so. So I don't think Manchester United can be so ruthless enough to just ship him out just like that. Of course, we will get a goalkeeper, but I think the plan could be that they could get someone who is definitely going to challenge, who will definitely play more of maybe Premier League.
You still have Dean Henderson at Forest, so he still has
Yeah,
to return.
yeah, of course. But to be fair and to be honest, I don't think Dean Henderson will want to
I know
continue
he'd be
at
gone next summer. I reckon a permanent deal next summer. He'd be gone.
yeah. Yeah, he could sign for Forest or any other
Yeah,
club, but I don't see Dean Henderson playing for Manchester United in the long term. So definitely there are other options. There are other options. There's
and
this Diego Costa.
I, I'm sorry to cut through you, but I prefer if Dean Henderson did leave the club, especially when he had the interview with Talksport a while ago, talking crap about the club.
Yeah,
You
of
know,
course. And that's why I think he will leave.
yeah. And Rahul says to hey, can't be offered a contract as of now. Well, I mean, I think if like there's not many good keepers out there. I mean, you have Donnarumma, he plays for PSG, but he's PSG only signed to him like last summer, so he won't be in a hurry to leave. So, I
What about Diego Costa?
what?
Costa, the Porto goalkeeper. I think he's good.
Oh, I thought you were on about the striker. I was like, what? But yeah, I
No,
know.
no, that's no.
No, I know who you're on about. Yeah,
You could check it out. I think the Porto goalkeeper.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'd rather keep Gahade and bring in a Pickford. To be honest, I don't think so. Will he? Will we really get a contract extension? I think he will. I think he will. Yeah, Diego Costa. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good he's a good
He's
keeper actually.
Portuguese.
Yeah, I think yes.
Oh yeah, Diogo Costa. Porto.
From
Yeah,
Switzerland.
yeah.
He was born. Yeah, he was
Diogo
born in
Costa.
Switzerland. He's
Uh,
Portuguese.
Portuguese. Yeah. Porto joined July 4th, 2019. The contract expires 2026.
Yeah,
He's only
2026.
he's only worth 22.5 million pounds. So that's not bad for a player, and he is only 23. I've heard of him, but yeah, there are many up and coming young keepers. Yeah, but what's Ten Hag looking for? You know, I don't know. A young keeper? Is he looking for young and like there is decent goalies out there. And I'm not sure. I want to check actually.
He's 23.
Uh,
He's young.
yeah, I mean there is a keeper as well I'd look at, and he's Spanish, and it's Unai Simon who plays for Spain.
Okay.
He's toward 25 million. He'd
You
be
know,
a good show.
it's not all about young keepers, getting a young goalkeeper and all of that. I think it
Look at
boils down
Tottenham
to,
with Hugo Lloris. He's what 36, and he's still the captain of Tottenham.
yeah, it's not about getting a young player or a young goalkeeper. It's
Yeah.
getting in the right player, the kind
And
of
how's that?
style Ten Hag
I
wants. You
don't
know,
even know.
he
I
he
mean,
wants
we go
he
for
wants his,
Buffon. We go
you
for
said,
Buffon. We go for Buffon, 44 years of age.
uh,
Oh, shit, imagine. That'd be something else. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of keepers out there, but what's Ten Hag interested in? What's that bald head saying? What do we want? Do I want a young keeper who plays for a top class club who gets regular game time? Do I want a keeper who's experienced? What do you want? Rahul says, I think the age of the keeper is irrelevant. It's more to do with the skill set. De Gea is a decent keeper. Obviously, he hasn't gotten the call up for Spain, but he didn't get called up last year when he was playing brilliant. So, I don't know. Well, yeah, the last bit in news from Fabrizio Romano came out earlier on. He says he's been told Diogo Dalot's contract at Manchester United also includes an option club side to extend the current deal until June 2024. Dalot always has been top professional and they're performing at a great level. Before we head, Michael, do you think Dalot deserves a contract extension?
well, to be fair, I don't think any contract talk should proceed at this point. And I think Fabrizio is actually correct. And I think Manchester United I think they are correct. They're spot on in that regard. They have to wait till after the World Cup. Of course, with this good form he's in, he deserves a contract. But we shouldn't be too quick to to make a decision and all of that. Patience is key in times like this. So we hope that he continues his form, his good form, because our players they've been victims of inconsistencies over the years. So let's see what happens after the World Cup. Then we can, propose a new contract for him. But with the kind of current form he's in, with the hot form, yes, of course, he deserves a good he deserves a new contract.
Yeah, I mean, I I give it January.
Yeah, it's from January. Yes.
But the last thing you want is a team looking at is what he has a year left on his contract, so January he'll have 6 months left. But that can I do think you get a contract extension, but we're
Yeah.
still early. We're still early in the season, so I'd give it time. Rahul says make decision at the end of the season. The thing is, his contract expires June, July, so
Yeah.
Man
So
United
I,
will
I
want
don't
to.
think so. I don't think so. The Manchester United will never wait till the end of the season. It could be
So
January.
personally, yeah, January is what I'd look at. After,
Yeah.
as you said, Michael, after the World Cup, I'd look at that. I wouldn't look anymore after January. It's too early. There's a lot of good players playing well for Manchester United. It's too early. I'm pretty sure Rashford's contract is cuts. Getting slim as well, so he'll definitely get a contract extension on matter how he performs, how he doesn't matter. The law, I'd give it time. I'd give it January because you don't want to extend it and then he plays rubbish. Because you want to be careful because the World Cup's coming up. Is he playing well because he wants to be in the World Cup squad? You have to be careful. You have to be careful. See what this is saying, and the rest
Yeah.
is doing. You want to,
Avoid
you
distraction. Yes.
exactly, and and come January, you want to know what this is saying and what the body's doing.
Yeah.
It's simple. We've seen it with Maguire at one stage when he actually had a good patch. Why? Because the World Cup or the Euros is coming up. Same with Luke Shaw. Once he came back after that, rubbish. Will they all be the same? Let's hope not. But you know where I'm coming from, though.
Yeah.
Luke Shaw played well, came back after the World Cup, or sorry, not the World Cup, the Euros last summer. Played bad. Is Delo doing that? I hope not. I hope. Personally, I think if Delo plays rubbish or not, he's still going to get picked because I think the law and Cancelo are probably Portugal's only two right backs. I'm not sure whether Semedo is Portuguese, but he really get game time. But Michael, I think that sums it all up, doesn't it? That comes to a close. As usual, Michael, speaking facts. Same with Rahul, who was in the chat. Um, Make sure to follow our socials. We're like 11 away from reaching 100 followers on Twitter, so make sure to go on over there and give us a follow. Follow our Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow the Instagram. And yeah, type in the United Way and you get us everywhere. We have a new logo coming. A new logo coming. A new logo is here. New background. We're still doing lots of work behind the scenes, especially me. So yeah, the more work, the better, isn't it? So yeah. But yeah, Michael, thanks very much for joining me. Much appreciated. Thanks everybody for watching. Rahul and everyone in the chat. Thanks very much for watching. Like, comment, hit that subscribe button, share around, and we'll speak to you all in the next one. Peace.
All right.